Well, families are no doubt feeling the economic impact of the coronavirus and the sudden issues in making ends meet.
Aaron Parseghian joining us now with a look at how some are making sure those bills are paid. Aaron.
Yeah, Dark Deanna, right now people thinking about money more than ever and are changing their spending habits. So we spoke with an expert to see where those changes should be made and how that can be beneficial in the long run.
In recent weeks, a lot of families across West Michigan have experienced a sudden change in income.
Our family income has pretty drastically been reduced right now. So between layoff and then also just a reduction in hours as well for my husband.
Stephanie Martin, a married mother of 3, is one of many in Kent County dealing with that now unfortunately familiar scenario.
When we started seeing the cut in pay, we immediately had to just reevaluate our budget. We already do budget in the first place, but had to go through it again and just really reevaluate what's important, what's not important.
Martin and her husband took a proactive approach, immediately cutting out things like subscription services and the amount of times they were getting takeout. Some cuts were made naturally given the current climate. By being home, they're saving a lot on what they normally spent on childcare and gym subscriptions. As a whole, they are making sure everything they purchase is essential.
I guess we're just really selective on what we do choose to spend on. In general, we're not spending a lot of money right now. So it's really interesting to look at our, credit card statement and realize how little you spend when you don't need to.
They also made changes to their retirement plan.
We looked at 401k contributions and decided to put those on hold. So we're not contributing anything to that right now. I feel like there's a time to prepare for the future, like many decades down the road. And there's a time where you just have to focus on the here and now and being able to just help your family.
It's a good decision. It's not ideal in a vacuum, but we're not in a vacuum. We're living real life with real pain. And so that decision they made a lot of sense. The key will be when they get reemployed, hopefully soon, that they restart those contributions without too much delay.
Pete the Planner Dunn is a personal finance expert. Dunn says every situation is of course different, but typically people can find themselves in 3 categories.
But ultimately there's 3 groups of people that are trying to make these decisions. People who have already been greatly impacted, people who might be impacted and don't have savings, and then people who are unlikely to be impacted and have savings.
If you are greatly impacted, Dunn says you need to focus on spending on the essentials. And only the essentials.
I think food is the first priority, not in terms of extravagant food, but the idea of sustenance, that you can nourish your body. I think rent is obviously very important, or a mortgage payment is very important beyond that. Do not try to get out of debt, meaning if you've got consumer debt that you were paying down aggressively, just pay minimum payments right now. There's zero reason to lessen your debt burden right now, because if you have extra money, that money should be saved, especially because we don't know when or what happens at the end of the enhanced unemployment benefit come July.
But what if you are still employed and find yourself actually saving more than you normally do? It's time to start building stability.
I think the first point of stability for most people, if they want to get serious about being stable, is a 3-month emergency fund. That is to say, whatever it costs you to live for 1 month, multiply by 3, that's your emergency fund. So that takes priority over extra investing or something like that. But emergency fund is definitely point number 1.
But his advice, no matter where you fall, is to not put too much pressure on yourself.
Your goal is to survive and be ready to rebuild, because a lot of us have lost in this moment, lost dignity and income and everything in between. And the other idea here is some people who've already won some financial battles in their lives, they may have to refight that battle. So just keep your head and don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yes, a lot of helpful tips there, but here's a guy with even more info. We're now joined by consumer expert John Matarese, who you may be familiar with his Don't Waste Your Money segments. John, thanks for being here. So let's get right into it. What resources are available for people who want to save more, and how can they avoid scams looking to profit off this pandemic?
Yeah, you got to watch out, Aaron, for some of these scams out there, because it's unbelievable what we've been finding on Facebook, on Instagram. People are looking to buy face masks. They're looking to buy all sorts of protective gear. They're looking for toilet paper. They go onto these sites. They see an ad for face masks. It doesn't arrive, or what arrives is garbage. They pay $50 for something that's worth 50 cents. You have to be so careful. And if you're buying something online as part of your pandemic shopping, just check out the company. A lot of this is coming from other companies. You may not get it. Check the company very carefully.